So what we can do here is take off the sticker, then we can get our cut the terminals off, leave 4 or 5 millimeters there, cut the terminals, you can see what's left now, and you can mount your switch here, and all you need to now do is take a pair of tweezers and you can wrap the wire, get the wire ready to wrap around the bottom terminal here. Pull it taut, and then you can wrap it again, and pull it tight, and cut it off. Now let your soldering iron go up to about 400 degrees, and we'll come over and get this nice and warm here, so we can do the solder joint and get it nice and hot, and then you can put your solder on, make sure it's a nice shiny joint. Looks good. So I have a good connection there. Do the same thing over here now. What you want to do is make sure that this lead here, the second lead, doesn't touch that side, or else you have a short circuit. So I like to come across this side first before I wrap it, to keep it away from the side here. And you can start your wrap. Still plenty of wire there. You don't want to pull it too tight because you want this thing to stay in the middle here. So push the wire down, and you can see if we can get one more wrap on the amount of wire we have left. We were able to do that, and I don't think we even need to cut anything off this time. And now we're ready to solder. So the same thing is here, come in, get it nice and hot, and get a nice shiny joint, and you're all soldered up, ready to go. So then the next step we're going to do is take the 2-part epoxy to hold our parts in place. So everything's all started up. What we want to do is make sure that the lamp works, that our connections are good and nothing went wrong, so we can plug in the lamp here and check the connection. That all looks good. So the next thing we want to do is protect the outside a little bit. We're going to take some tape and tape off the outside just a little bit, because the 2-part epoxy is kind of sticky and it gets around things and sticks things. So what we're going to do is take this tape and wrap it on the outside of the housing here. And what we want to do, we're going to use this section here with more epoxy, so we don't want to cover that. So we only want to cover the upper 2/3 of the lamp with the tape, and just let it be at that. So now we take the 2-part epoxy. This is the Toolcraft 2-part epoxy. I've already cut off a section about 10 millimeters and divided it into sections of 4. And I'm going to take just a 1/4 section here and start to mix it. It's a hard piece of something in here. Take that out, and I'm going to mix this all together until I get a uniform color. And once it's uniform color, then it's going to start to set up, and it'll harden in about 5 minutes. and it should hold our switch and connector in place so that it's much easier to do the outside shell with the FEMO. So after you use this stuff, you're going to want to wash your hands. It's kind of nasty. It smells a little bit. But it's really interesting stuff because it acts like glue. It gets really sticky, and you can form it. So if you really need to glue anything together with a real robust glue, this two-part epoxy stuff is pretty good stuff. I use it for a lot of different things. So what we're going to do is take about half of it and now lay it here under the switch so that we can hold the switch in place. It's going to harden, and then the position of the switch will be set. You can see how I just lay it in there. What you want to do is lay the switch on the edge, and we're going to do the same thing with the other piece for the connector, and just smush it in there. And then what you want to do is smush your connector in there too. And now what we want to do is have this connector in the middle of the white connector, and we want the shoulder height here to be about the shoulder height of the switch. So then you can start to move this around, and you can take your penknife if you want, and you can form a little bit of the putty here so you get more support in the places that you want it. You don't need so much putty down here at the bottom, so you can push it up a little bit, cover up the terminals if you want, and really start to think about setting your positions here, because as this stuff dries and it becomes less flexible, you can put the putty here in a little bit, and you can put the putty here to support it. It takes about 5 minutes to dry, so make sure everything is perpendicular and then the shoulder height is about the same here while it's still flexible. And once you get your position set, just leave it alone and let it set up.